C.S. Lewis once said, "If we let ourselves, we shall always be waiting for some distraction or other to end before we can really get down to our work. The only people who achieve much are those who want knowledge so badly that they seek it while the conditions are still unfavorable. Favorable conditions never come." And this is something that we're going to talk about today because for a lot of people, for so many people, we get the contemporary advice of, oh, if you just start today, or if you just do a little bit each day. I think I've even made a video about this exact, saying those exact things. If you do it, and you just do it a little bit, no matter how small the increment is, as long as you're starting to build that slow increment, you are going to grow into and be doing amazing things. And that is true. That is certainly still correct advice, but something a lot of people get caught up on is the actual aspect of when to start. And even though I think I said, start today, and that's what the advice always is to just start today and then keep going. That starting or that continuing shortly after the short dopamine hits of, oh, I'm doing this thing I want and this is really good. To continue after that requires perseverance through adversity. Because what I love about this quote and what's so true about this quote in relation to those other statements and what those other statements I think crucially miss is the fact that in order to do these things that we want to do in our lives, we're going to have to do them through unfavorable conditions. Not only because there is so much that is competing for our attention and which requires obligations of our time from us and all these other things that, take away the time that we have to dedicate to the thing that we want, the thing that we love, and that we're trying to do. But we also, if we are waiting for some kind of time to do, that thing that we want, we're never going to have it. Like, if you honestly ask yourself to the thing you're trying to do, what would be the favorable condition for me to start doing this? Like, at what point can I say, oh, this is when I should do this? And the answer is probably going to be never, because you are always, as long as you do not force the time for something in your life to happen, other things are going to fill that void invariably. They're going to fill that void. And when they do so, that space, that vacancy in your schedule that was open to do the thing you wanted to do is now filled yet again. So it doesn't matter if you don't have time, or like if you're scrapping for time, or if you have actually a lot of time. If you are waiting for any reason to do the things that you would like, whether it's, oh, I don't have the talent for that, so I would need a lot of time to dedicate, so I'm waiting for when I'm freer. When is that going to be? Because when you get home from work and then you take the time to unwind, by the time it's by the time you're done with that, it's already been the next day. Next day's started, we're punching in again before we even know it. So it's, as long as you tell yourself like, oh, I'm just waiting for that right moment, it's never going to happen. It's simply never going to happen. And how do I know this is because with my instrument right now, my instrument is alto saxophone, which is what I play. It's something I want to do for this channel. It's something that, I want to work on and, introduce in my songs and maybe do streams of me playing. I've done little segments and people in the broadcast have loved it. And by the way, Melcy Wrath on Twitch should be in the description if you want to check that out. We do all type of live streams. But the saxophone was my thing. And when my instrument broke, that was my excuse. That's certainly an unfavorable condition that Dan, if I don't have this instrument, maybe one day when the things are circumstantially getting better, then I can do that. But I can tell you right now, because I have an instrument that I'm struggling to play now as it is. it's very difficult to have the discipline and to push through in every day, and then especially when your schedule is so unfavorable towards making that happen. But I can tell you that if I was never given the instrument, like literally for free in my lap by my grandparents, then I would have never, probably never restarted. Absolutely not. I would not have restarted. And what does that, mean for my instrument? Because, I was quite good back when I played. And I had a lot going for me. And there was a lot of interesting things I could do on the channel now. There's a lot of things that are interesting that I want to do in the future. But for as long as, I say, oh, I'll wait for the favorable conditions, then, that dream is just dead on arrival. It's dead in the water. It's not something that is ever going to happen. Because I need to tell myself, like, listen, you are never going to get like a comfortable window to actually play this thing. You have to force the time in, because otherwise that's going to turn into a YouTube video. Or even if it's still something constructive in your life, like, doing your laundry, or maybe working on my channel in a different aspect. There's all types of rationalizations you can do, and that's the thing you're going to do, is you're going to rationalize reasons why you can't, or why it's okay to delay this and then wait for another time. And then the opportune time never comes. Either because it doesn't exist. It's something that you have to force and make. You have to aggressively force it. You have to relentlessly force it. And that's what the video talking about doing it every day really meant. Is that through the adversity, through, all the horrific work conditions or life circumstances at home, it doesn't really matter what's going on, because you are responsible for your actions. And if you do not say, I need this, I really need this, I want this, I actually want this. If you want to do more than pay lip service to that, because I'm sure you do want it, I'm sure you do want it, you want it really badly. Like, there's, it's such a struggle, it's so hard to do it. I understand, because I fumble plenty on that exact, that exact same front. But the way out is to take the final sentence of that and truly like appropriate and understand that in your life. That favorable conditions never come. If you are not going to push through the unfavorable for as long as it takes for you to get there, that end goal that you want, and then essentially repeat the process for the same thing again, then you are just never going to achieve that knowledge, or achieve that skill, or achieve that job, that ranking, whatever it is. I'm going through a job search right now, and it is hard to find any time. I'm so drained, I just want to relax a little bit. I still gotta work on this channel, I gotta do all that. And then you're telling me I gotta tailor make my application to fit through some garbage AI system, like, so that it goes through. Then I also have to get picked, and then I have to go through the interviews, and I have to go through 3 stages, and I have to get accepted past that. Then I have to decide if that's even the right job for me. I have to refresh the listings. It's an insane amount of things that we're expected to do today if we want to get anything done. So, even now, even more so than the time that he profoundly wrote this, if you are not going to push through the unfavorable, then you are just never going to do what you want, no matter how insignificant it is. Even if it's just a little pastime hobby you enjoy, that could be something that really fulfills you or develops into something more, like as life progresses or your circumstances change. So to make the most of your opportunities and your dreams and your desires, what you really need to do is just do it. And do it no matter what is going on around or within you. Because, if you don't, the window that's going to be open for that to happen is more or less never. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to be absolutely unconditional about this. Obviously, you don't work like 18 hours and then you haven't slept for 2 days, and then you're like, oh, got to practice my instrument now because I want to be a musician. You know, you need the rest. The rest is like one of the most important and undervalued things in our societies. It's shamed to rest, even though rest is literally like how you function and function at your best. But what I am saying is, you know, if you're honest with if you're really honest with yourself, you can look at some point in your life, probably even today, where if you look at something in the back of your mind that's one of those like kind of pipe dreams, you know, you're like, oh, it would be nice if this or that. Like for a ton of people, it's like artistry, like, oh, illustrations and making art sounds really cool, but you know, I don't really have the talent for that. And the thing is, you know, nobody like the people have talent for art to an extent, but almost all of it is just straight trained. You know, it's like a learned thing. All of it's learned, practiced, done through repetition. And what holds so many people back is just this exact thing, you know. Oh, you know, if maybe one day I'll do that, if this or that or the other. And it's like, no. You need to decide if that's really important to you. The thing in question, whatever it is important to you. Because if it is, then you need to start sacrificing to pursue it now, even when it's not ideal, even when it's like sneaking in a 5-minute working on that skill or that investment. You know, job hunt, I can still check the listings and pull the good ones that I need to take a look at later, right? 5 minutes, you could do like whole runs of scales or long tones for an instrument, improve your sound. That's a lot you can do in 5 minutes. And if you're saying you don't have literally 5 minutes in a day, then that's just the exact kind of coping that, like, I'm not gonna lie, that squeezing in 5 minutes, like before you rush to work, you know, that's something I have to do all the time. Absolutely have to do all the time, especially with this channel. I'm not saying like it's stress-free or it's easy to, you know, put down the things you may enjoy more in the moment to, you know, pursue what you really want. But what I am saying is that if you want it, if you really want it, you need to want it bad enough that you'll do it through that unfavorable condition. And you'll do it, you know, every day and build the discipline to continue doing it, no matter what the circumstance is. Because one of the hard facts of life that we have to accept is that for essentially anything you want to do, nearly at any given moment, if it's not a short, spontaneous, one-time thing, it's not going to have favorable conditions for it to happen. Those things are processes that occur over weeks, months, years. And that's an investment of your life that you have to be willing to make at the expense of potential other things. So, I think that's all. Just consider that. This has been Mel's Music. Thank you for listening. See you soon.